Hiya, and welcome back to Moonlight Castle, the game that teaches us that... I can't think of anything. I cannot think of anything. Katz knows exactly what that message actually said, so does Damien. Curious, ask them, because I cannot say it here. Anyways, let's just hop right in.
About time. I wasn't gonna give the same speech twice.
I saw you entering the cafe literally 1 minute ago.
Wrong. I've been here the whole time.
Fuck. I have a fucking ear infection right now. I have an ear infection. And whenever I get them, it fucks up my jaw. Every single time I get one, it fucks up my jaw. And I can tell that I have one because my jaw is fucked up. I can still talk. It's just going to hurt like hell for a week. If you even care a little about your fantasies, you better move on and talk. Russell was somewhat angrier than when I left him earlier. Liam really was capable of pissing anyone off. But yeah, don't worry too much about it. The Lynx promptly laughed at him and pulled out a book for all of us to see. Ghost Hunting for Dummies? Patrice read the cover out loud, only for him to enter a laughing fit. Hiya. Are you serious? That's, friendly?
I thought it was funny.
Come on now. We've gathered here to assist him in his search. Might as well see it through to the end. Hey, if this is the level of scare I have to face, I'm all for it. Okay, let's see what's in here. If it's blank, I'm going to piss my pants! The first 2 pages showed us an unfinished map of the castle with notes and ideas for new possible paths and what we could theoretically see on the way. Greenhouse into the library. Yeah, that seems right. Dylan was the first to visit the greenhouse. I was told he cut through the vines for us. Dylan just grunted in response, placing his finger on what was beyond the library. This is the basement. After the library. Don't go in there, it's dangerous. Quick thing about that, Axel, I'm just gonna say it. I have all my data on Fortnite data on a private account, and that private account is directly linked to my PlayStation account, and I am not comfortable sharing that information, mostly because it's linked to my legal name. I'm just like, y'all can see my face. I don't want you to know my name. This is the basement after the library. Don't go in there, it's dangerous. An indoor greenhouse. What a strange location. Are you sure this is correct? Yes, it's true. 4 people saw it. I'd like to see it. The map was surprisingly useful. It helped us share information faster than I expected.
I made only 4 because we're exploring in pairs. Don't lose it. I won't be around explaining stuff.
Liam flipped to the next page, a page about ghosts and what to do if one appeared.
I wanted to make a little drawing here, but I'm not good at it.
I went ahead to read some of the text for myself, but there wasn't much to find. Red ghosts run or hide, blue ghost ignore. Hold up. Real quick. Because I had this thought a couple times. I thought about this. Clyde. We know he's asexual. If he doesn't mate, I will be upset. Just kidding, but don't fucking take my word as the Bible. I will be upset if he doesn't make the most raunchy, jaw-dropping, eye-watering, toe-curling, nastiest sex joke to man. If he doesn't make that joke, I will be sad. I will be sad. Red ghost runner hide, blue ghost ignore. Why's that? Aren't they supposed to be transparent? I thought ghosts were white. Ace kings are powerful for that reason, right? He better make it. I thought ghosts were white. That is, if they ever existed to begin with. Russell, you shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, Russell. You got no right to talk, little mister. Oh, hey, here's a great idea. Ghosts don't exist, and if they do, it's Casper the Friendly Ghost. Or fucking Pac-Man. No. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You got no right to talk. Or I swear to God, I am going to tell the loan sharks to go after your ass. Shut the hell up. That is, if they ever exist to begin with.
If they're cursed, their color changes.
Is that it? No explanation given? Still hate his guts. I fucking despise him. Like, this is probably awful of me, but there are very few people, both in visual novels and out of visual novels, that I feel about this, because I love all these characters. I love them. They're very lovable. Yeah, he was perfectly written. He could be on... He could rely on something being plugged in, being necessary, and... my phone could be on 99%, I would unplug it just to get my phone to 100%. That is how badly I hate him. He could fall, he could trip and fall, and I wouldn't offer to help him up. I would point and laugh at him. That is how much I hate him. I think the only two other characters that I hate like that, they're both from Far Beyond the World. They are Aldris and what's-his-face? The guy who's always around Aldris. The guy who I'm ashamed to twin with. I don't fucking know. It's those two. Enel is amazing. Anyways, let's actually get back to the story. I could rant about how much I hate Russell all night. But let's just go back to the story. Is that it? No explanation given? I did want to know the difference, as crazy as it sounded. Colors meant something?
It's for dummies, remember? I gave you the simplest version possible, but if you care to learn more, I did explain more at the end. I needed to make sure the most important things were in front.
I could check it out later then. Be respectful of your surroundings. Don't make noise, don't break anything, and take it slow. Patrice read another line, unimpressed. This sounds like a school trip. Joel compared it to a museum, and you're giving it the same vibe. Hang on, I'm going to adjust myself so that way. Right there. There we go.
You could find traps. I'd recommend running only if there's no other option available.
I suppose that makes a little sense. The floor didn't look stable. I'd rather not see anyone falling through. Another page showed 2 rings. They looked exactly the same, only the stone in each was different.
My sister is most likely wearing this ring here.
Liam pointed at the blue ring in the picture. What about the red one, then? Blinks promptly pulled out the real thing from his pocket.
This one's mine. It was a birthday gift. I'm assuming she's still wearing hers.
He also included a picture of them together, but I guess she'd most likely be unrecognizable. Can I ask a question regarding this thing right here? Clyde brought us back to the map, addressing one of the handwritten notes Liam added. Something called a safe room followed by multiple question marks.
It's technically a clean space free of ghosts that we could use to rest and recharge.
I see. And why is it written like that?
I'm not sure of where it could be. That's why you see those question marks.
I have something important to say.
Yes?
Let's say I found your sister. What do you want me to do afterwards?
You will leave her where she is, wait for me in the safe room, and I'll do the rest.
Alright, I got the gist of things now. He does? I still find this insane. Hopefully I'm not the one who finds her.
I also wrote some more hypothetical scenarios you guys can read while Ryan drives us back to the castle.
He walked in my direction and handed me a similar looking bag to the one I saw yesterday. I didn't exactly register the situation properly and just took it off his hands, only for the bag to drag me down with its weight. Why is it so heavy? Ryan came to my rescue and took this boulder away from me.
It's really not.
Alright, being indirectly called a weakling sure was nice. Let me check. Ryan passed the bag over to the dragon. I can see why that happened. I usually carry my own bag, so this shouldn't trouble me too much. No wonder Blake called him a wet noodle. Blake? I don't remember that, but Blake? Call me a wet noodle again. I dare you. I dare you. I woke up this morning and chose violence. I woke up and chose violence. You Shadow the Hedgehog looking motherfucker. I can see why that happened. I usually carry my own bag, so this shouldn't trouble me much. Are we going to split again like yesterday?
For sure, but if that doesn't reassure you guys, I'll take a look around first to double check whether it's safe.
Silence. We didn't say anything. It was a lot to take in considering how much we'd heard already today. I wouldn't blame anyone if they decided to step away now that we were about to leave. Damn, Blake, are you going to take that? He fucking better! That is, if anyone believed what he had told us. It felt as though we were passively taking it all in without actually understanding the situation. I was strangely drawn to the castle, and I didn't understand why. Was everyone else experiencing this feeling too? Time to depart, correct? Clyde took a deep breath, clutching his bag closer to his chest. I'm supposed to return this book tonight. That means I can't run away from this. You mean that bloody book? It's not blood, it's not blood, it's not blood! What are we talking about again? Clyde unzipped his bag and showed the group his cursed book. I was referring to this. He quickly dropped it back inside. Sometimes it gets warmer while I'm holding it. It's so uncomfortable. Stop that already! Don't make it sound like the book is alive! You were holding against your body the whole time, so obviously it wouldn't stay cold. Russell, shut the fuck up!
Explain the words appearing on their own, then.
You can easily make that trick work with temperature. I'm sure you're the one holding the book when it happened.
You're annoying because it's a good comeback, but you're wrong. I can't make the entire page turn red so easily.
I told you that the only way for me to believe in your claims is by seeing it with my own eyes. You...
I'm growing more excited to prove you're wrong than perform my job.
Of course, I'll prepare to close the shop. Please wait for me outside. That's my cue to get a cigarette in before the car trip. Russell and Blake left, then we all split to do our own thing before settling down in the car.
I'm going to go pack our things. Dylan!
So you want me to do it? The crocodile scoffed and hurried out after him. Patrice seemed to be having second thoughts, and honestly, I didn't judge him for it. Have you changed your mind, Patrice? Yes? No? I should go? Ugh, that's so stressful for me. Nobody's forcing you to be here. I said I'd do it. It's for my own good. I need to see this through to the end. Okay, hear me out. Liam mentioned this safe room that is supposed to shelter you from all dangers we might find on this journey. You can test yourself, see how you fare, and if things don't work out, we can rest there and wait for the group to come pick us up. Are we sure this safe room is actually safe? How do we know that? I opened the book Liam gave us and shuffled through the pages, mostly looking toward the back where he claimed the flavor text would be. Found it! We all scooched closer to read what the book said about safe rooms. Safe rooms are special rooms that ghosts are forbidden from entering because of the sentimental value they hold. Important memories once played out in that space, and in order to preserve them, the curse subconsciously protects the room from corruption. Yup, this is straight out of a video game. Does this convince you? It makes me feel stupid, but I do feel calmer now. Can I ask you something, Patrice? We should continue this conversation outside. I see Russell glaring at us through the window. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. We walked out and saw Blake leaning against a pole, smoking his cigarette while staring at the moon. A small puff of smoke came out of his mouth and rose up into the sky after he inhaled the fumes. I take it that we're going? Almost. Russell's still inside. So, Patrice, is there another reason why you decided to join us? I wasn't sure at first, but when you forced yourself to continue after hearing about the book, it got me thinking that you had ulterior motives. Good observation skills. I can confirm that you're right. Blake, who had just finished smoking, approached us after listening to our conversation. Guys, wait. Patrice stopped Ryan from speaking on his behalf and crossed his arms. True, there is more to my story. He sighed, carefully thinking about his next words. I'm not hiding it on purpose, I was just respecting Liam's sister's wishes, and I suppose her brother too. That part felt forced. He seemed to care more about her than Liam. I mean, have you noticed how he stopped using her name altogether? It's bothered him so much that Liam doesn't want to say anything about her. Am I to understand that you've met her before? Patrice could have lied his way out of that, but the moment his eyes widened, he gave it away. Shoot, you guys are too smart for me. Can we at least stop here? I'd like to share, but not right now. Blake and I had really pieced it together quite nicely. I understand, and it would be nice of you to respect his boundaries. We're going to keep this between us, right? I wanted to know, but I shouldn't say that out loud. This sounds like a personal matter rather than information related to the search. We don't need to know more. Thanks. I'll see what I can do and talk to Liam first. I want to check how he feels about it. Dylan started honking, giving us an absolutely unnecessary scare. I want to leave! He continued to honk the horn, and he most likely wouldn't stop until we joined him. I pinched the bridge of my nose, annoyed. We had been needing some noise. That's what I prevented last time. I'll get him away from the driver's seat. Ryan rushed toward the car, and I followed after him. The two were pushing each other, trying to take control over the seat, and it surprised me how much Ryan struggled to get the upper hand. Dylan must have been really tough, considering he easily overpowered Patrice. I would never want to be on his bad side. We're here! We're here! Everyone's seated. You can drive now. I placed myself in the front next to Ryan, just like yesterday, and after a few hiccups, the car started and we drove back to the forest. If Dylan gets to drive, it's over for the entire neighborhood. It is. Fucker's gonna hand us a fucking baseball bat. Fucker's gonna hand us a baseball bat and expect us to start hitting cars. Or some shit. Not cars, mailboxes. Fuck. And after a few hiccups, the car started and we drove back to the forest. Don't get distracted, you haven't learned the route yet. Yes, I did. Tell him, Patrice. He tends to memorize roads fast. Can't say the same for school material, though. You're gonna stop to the compliment. Patrice leaned forward, placing his head between us. You're always fishing for those, but I'm the wrong person. Ryan blushed, and when he had a chance to freely move his hand, pushed him back to his seat, grumbling words under his breath I couldn't catch. Be careful. You deserved it. The campsite wasn't far, with a few minutes left of traveling. I wanted to go back to Liam's book and read more of the flavor text in the back he mentioned. Ah, I see. Ryan briefly glanced over in my direction and saw what I was doing. I wonder how he came up with all that in such a short amount of time. I spent some time reading and discovered generic ghost trivia that personally didn't convince me, but it was interesting nonetheless. He was creative, at least. I wanted to hear about the colors. Does it say why some are blue and others are red? That reminded me, I also wanted to check that out. I skimmed through the pages and found the flavor text I was looking for. The book says that red ghosts are evil, vengeful, and can't distinguish friend from foe. It's best to avoid them entirely or face the consequences. Well, that wasn't so bad. I understood that perfectly. Making it too complicated, my ass. Blue ones instead don't care about you and can be approached with caution. It's recommended to avoid confrontation regardless. I'd love to chat with a ghost. I'm adding that to my bucket list. It says that you shouldn't because they can turn into red ghosts under certain circumstances. Ha. I feel like everything in that book wants to kill you somehow. Liam wrote it. Exactly my point. You gotta walk through that forest, huh? It's an awkward trail, very easy to lose your footing and hurt yourself.
Stay close to Dylan, then. He can easily hold you.
That got me thinking about all the possible scenarios, and I came to the conclusion that Dylan wouldn't save anyone. Or if he truly tried, he'd reach for any part of your body within grab range, making the rescue look awkward and uncomfortable. Somehow I feel safer alone. I also don't feel like tripping tonight. Just watch where you step. You'll be fine. Shh, Russell. Shh. We walked through the main path and reached the old campfire site. This place felt nostalgic for some reason. It's only been one day, yet it didn't feel like that at all. I wanted to go back to that night. Everyone looked so much happier then, didn't they?
Okay, get closer now. I'd rather not lose any of you before reaching our destination.
The bushes and leaves rustled as he pushed them out of the way to make space for us. At first my nose could barely pick up that strange odor, but now it was growing stronger and more present. I had no idea what it was, but I personally didn't like it. It was something I've never smelled before. Can you smell that? My question was left hanging, carried by the howling wind, as I looked at Clyde messing around with the bag Liam gave us. Did you say something? He eventually zipped it and got back to me. What's wrong? He looked slightly uncomfortable and unnecessarily sweaty for someone so composed. The dragon moved closer to whisper into my ears. I think the book's acting up. It might be something related to the castle. We have to let Liam know then. It stopped already. What am I supposed to say? You were told to stay calm, and this would stir up more trouble than it's worth. I reluctantly gave up, but my thoughts went back to the smell. He would totally have noticed something so strong. Can you hallucinate smells? Is that even possible? I managed to get through the forest without slipping this time around. Yay! The old rusty gate was just a few steps away, so we took a small break to rest and gather up. Blake and Ryan approached to check on us. Clyde did look like he was struggling with the extra luggage. How are you doing? I'm managing. Joel and Patrice are being quite helpful and patient with me, and I appreciate that. You barely needed any help, just good advice on the best train to step on. Have you done this before? Sometimes I invite Ryan to small hikes on the weekend. He never turns me down because I offer him lunch afterwards. It's important to keep my body moving because I eat a lot. They continued chatting, and my eyes went to Liam and Dylan being further away from us while staying in close proximity. Dylan was holding his nose just like I was before. He must have been feeling it as well.
You guys done catching your breath? Let's get inside already.
Liam was growing impatient, just like last time. It was the only occasion where I've ever seen him truly upset. The castle's towers were now fully visible as we got closer to the main entrance. I remember that old fountain full of debris, built exactly in the middle of what could have been a small plaza in the past. Oh, hiya, cats. I always love seeing your messages. I always love seeing them. Built exactly in the middle of what could have been a small plaza in the past. We walked through, ignoring everything around us to get inside. My body shivered when a chilling wind began blowing behind us, almost trying to push us in. It wasn't raining, at least. Liam pushed the door open, making us hear that awful creaking noise again. A putrid, disgusting smell welcomed me. When I stepped into the lounge. It was unbearable, so strong and pungent I was tearing up, and breathing through my shirt did nothing. Dylan began cursing out loud, only for sudden coughing to stop him. This is bad! The atmosphere. This place wasn't the same anymore. I could tell something happened here while we were gone. What was that smell? I had never smelled something so rancid before. It's like rotting, expired food? Nope, that would never be so powerful. You okay? Why are you holding your shirt like that? You don't feel it. Feel what? I glanced over my friends and realized that not everyone was affected. It was impossible to ignore even if you tried. I didn't know ghosts had an odor. This shit's gonna make my nose bleed. Is this one of those things normal people can't sense? I'm content with not knowing. Yeah, that's alright. Even though it's fucked up, it's alright. I'm content with not knowing. Then describe it to me.
Of course I don't smell. This is...
Liam held his tongue, uncertain about revealing that information. The ground is moving. An earthquake? Everyone out now.
Wait, don't leave!
Liam tried to keep the group close to him, but that didn't make sense. It wasn't safe for us to stay inside, not until the shaking had stopped. It started weak, but slowly built its way up to a strong, violent movement. The kind that wouldn't let you walk without tripping. Patrice was horrified, and before anyone could get out, shoved us out of the way to attempt to leave first. God damn it, Patrice. He had worked so hard not to panic, but nothing could have prepared him for a natural calamity. Another person, faster than Patrice and agile enough to not lose balance, sprinted past all of us and tackled the tiger down. Stay the fuck here! Dylan was now sitting on top of Patrice and yelled at us while blocking the way. I was confused and concerned. This wasn't time to argue, but he was keeping us from leaving, sending glares our way. What are you doing? If this place collapses, we're going to die. The tiger begged and cried from below, unable to set himself free, causing Ryan to take action. That's enough. Let him go. We can't stay here. My head also began throbbing. The earthquake and the infighting wasn't enough, apparently. Rocks began falling outside, near the entrance where Patrice would have been. That quickly turned into a rock slide that ended with a giant boulder crashing in front of us, in front of the door, locking us in. A massive wave of dust and sand formed upon impact, creating a wall of smoke that decreased our visibility. I could barely even see myself, but that didn't matter. I was hoping the others were unharmed. Is everyone okay? I could hear Patrice's crying voice even before Ryan yelled. We all gathered around Patrice and felt relieved upon seeing them all safe and sound. That was it. The earthquake stopped, everything was quiet again, and we all watched in horror at the end result. Shut up! Dylan tried in vain to make Patrice stop. Okay, fine! He refused to get up until the tiger had calmed down. We're trapped! We're trapped! We're trapped! Calm down, we can always escape through the windows. Technically, we didn't know how much damage the castle had received, but we had to find a different way out regardless.
You should be thankful. Dylan saved your life just now.
I could feel the disdain in his tone. He didn't seem to care at all about Patrice's mental state. Of course, we all acknowledged that the way Liam said that was just wrong. Patrice began gasping for air. I knew exactly what that meant and what he was going through. He's hyperventilating. You have to move. I'm serious. Dylan reluctantly obliged and Clyde rushed to his side. Lackady Toda, that's fucked up. That's fucked up, man. Lackady Toda, that's fucked up because Patrice is having a panic attack. What the hell, Lackady Toda? Clyde is the bitch. He is the bitch. Dylan reluctantly obliged and Clyde rushed to his side. Can you focus on me? I'm here to help you. Clyde gently rolled him around, make eye contact. Patrice slowly nodded in response. I'm going to pinch your nose. Do your best and try breathing through one of your nostrils, okay? Another nod from Patrice, seeing his breathing slowing and stabilizing, cheered us up for the time being. Patrice hugged Clyde tight. He was clearly scared and upset. Clyde reassured him, giving him back the same warm hug. We should look for an exit and get Patrice and Clyde back to the car. Liam wants to keep playing games, he can.
We can't leave. If you try that again, Dylan will save you from becoming an omelet.
What are you talking about? That was a coincidence, wasn't it? Please, nobody can artificially cause an earthquake.
I don't expect you to believe everything I'm saying, but at least understand that this place isn't the same as yesterday. You can feel that, right?
I was afraid to admit it.
Then look around the lounge, see if you can figure it out.
What is he... What is he talking about? Try not to listen. I don't want you to have another episode. Something different about the lounge itself? It was hard to tell now with this dust cloud around us. I took Liam's book from the bag and compared the current room with the map. Wait, the layout. Has it changed? Ryan took it from my hands to see for himself. Huh? It's just a drawing. Surely it's not too different from... Okay, are you guys remembering it right? Because if we trust the map, then... Are you trying to say the walls moved and changed positions? Of course not! But how can we explain this? We just went through a fairly strong earthquake. The map isn't reliable anymore. Russell walked up to the boulder and pushed. Maybe we can just move it out of the way? Let me try. Be careful. We can't see if there's more than one and you could get hurt. The two combined their strength, but the rock didn't budge an inch from where it landed. Oh god damn it, cats. It's stuck. Liam rolled his eyes, approached Patrice, and helped him up.
Can you walk on your own?
I guess so.
Let's find that safe room and have them stay there for now.
Sure. Better than seeing them on the floor. It could be anywhere. I'd rather wait here until you find it.
I do know where it is now.
You said you were unsure.
That was before the earthquake and before the room layout suddenly changed. The safe room is not affected by any of this, and I remembered one unexplored hallway that's somehow still accurate to my map. Nobody went that way, but if the hallway hasn't changed, that means it's very close. Follow me.
Clyde was assisting Patrice, so I decided to give them space and explore our surroundings instead. We moved after Liam into the dark corridor and noticed the increased level of neglect in this hallway. This feels different. Blake matched his pace with me and chimed in. It doesn't feel natural. Look underneath the rocks. I wasn't sure what he meant, so I rolled over a couple pieces of debris we found on the way and realized the truth behind his words. There's dust both underneath and on top of the rock. Yes, it doesn't make sense. How? That's impossible. The answer to your question would be that they weren't touching the floor, and at some point, these pieces of debris were located somewhere else. Even the smallest pieces? That's meaningless? A waste of time? Oh, absolutely. Was there a remote possibility of this being engineered? But you'd leave some sort of clue behind, I think. If that was the case, though, why? What's the point of doing something like this? To preserve the original decay? I felt stuck. It seemed such a meaningless thing to do, and yet the proof was there in front of my eyes. I saw the others attempt to open some of the doors while Liam kept walking straight ahead. He didn't know they were all locked without checking first. I guess I did tell him that. This is the same situation again. Expand on that. We're following a path someone else made for us, like it's on purpose.
Some doors are just for show, most likely faked to create hesitation and anxiety.
I feel none of that. You can take your time and inspect everything.
You're not being chased yet.
Chased? Did you fucking say chased? I am absolutely not leaving this room once we get there.
Good to hear, 'cause it's here.
Those doors at the end of the hallway led to the dining room. No doubt about it, they effortlessly spread open for all of us and Liam stepped inside first. Or that's what I thought would happen. He instead stopped on the border between the two, staring at something up ahead. I could see a faint light through the gaps, but I couldn't make it out until I got closer. Some candles were sitting on that table, giving a nice warm light to the dark environment around us. On any other occasion, I would have liked to see this because I like candles. But here, if none of us did that, then there's only one possible explanation. We should leave. If someone else is here, things could get difficult to handle.
Get inside. Let's sit down and discuss this.
You're really testing my patience here. We did as he asked and fully entered the room. I went to the candles right away and noticed one in particular giving a soft blue light instead of orange like the others. They were nice, comforting, and giving off a positive energy, but the frightening question behind their existence remained. Clyde walked up to me, gave the candles a brief look, and then covered his mouth to hold in a gasp. 8. There are 8 candles. They were scattered across the table, so it didn't hit me right away, but it's true. Exactly 8. The same as us. They're welcoming us. What's the problem? I didn't like that at all. Who was welcoming us? How could he smile at me like that after saying something so creepy? Did you put these here? Liam raised a brow, then laughed at the question.
Of course I did. I came here alone before you guys and prepared these candles in advance to give you a little fright. That's a jokester I am!
Dude, that's a legit question. You can just say no.
Forgive me if it gets on my nerves when someone sees something strange and always points their fucking finger at me.
I knew coming here was a mistake. Now I'll look for a way out and come back once I find it. I'll help you, but first hear him out.
If Dylan will be by your side, then I have nothing to worry about. Everyone else should stay here and wait for us to return.
Clyde wanted to get rid of the book, so you have to let us explore. I'd prefer if you would stay here and wait instead. I'll find you that library as well.
Don't do anything reckless. I didn't expect it to be this bad. Stay here with Clyde and Ryan.
When and where do we meet up? Liam flipped his phone and pointed at the time it showed for Dylan to see.
Here in 1 hour. I'll try to be done fast.
Wasn't I supposed to return this book?
I'll come back for it later. We don't know if the map is reliable anymore, so stay here.
Sure, I suppose. Answer me, Liam. What was that smell about, and why can't I sense it? Liam turned in his direction, then fidgeted a little bit, wondering if he could give Blake the answer he wanted to hear, but eventually gave in to his demand.
It's the smell of death. That unmistakable stench of decomposed bodies.
I felt like throwing up. Of course I couldn't have understood what that was. Oh yeah? That doesn't answer my question in full. Time to find a typewriter so you can save LMAO. Yes. Liam was lost in his thoughts, struggling to admit the truth, afraid to say it. Say it or we're all leaving right now.
I'll get you killed. You saw it.
I saw a bunch of coincidences. There's no proof that anything you said is real. I could see Clyde clutching his bag tighter to his chest. Blake. He wanted to chime in the conversation only for Blake to snap back at him. Stay out of this! Liam sighed, visible regret painted all over his face for what he was about to reveal.
Mediums are the only ones who can sense it.
I felt strange. My mind didn't get the opportunity to either agree or disagree with that statement because my body was reacting on its own. Like a natural response. Pardon me? The wolf grunted, displaying skepticism. We all looked at each other in surprise, seeking further approval, which, with Dylan being the only one unfazed by that revelation. God damn it, Russell. Do you vouch for him, then? Blake also noticed that and asked the crocodile. Yes, everything he said is true. The wolf backed away and the room fell quiet. Dylan had no reason to lie to us, since it wouldn't benefit him in any way.
I hope you're happy, Blake. You push your friends one step closer to the edge.
Fuck off, Liam. Blake hurried away, causing Dylan to roll his eyes and follow suit. I'm also capable of smelling that odor. I had noticed, and with this new information, I was still processing what it meant for us both.
I don't need to repeat myself. What are you going to do? I'm fine with going alone as well.
I'm still interested in seeing this place up close, so show me.
Fine, you four wait for us.
No more funky clicking ASMR. Bitch, you want ASMR? I will give you ASMR. I will give you ASMR. Hold up, let me grab it. And there we go. Okay, I'm done. There's your ASMR. I don't know how to ASMR, plus I have a noise gate. I have a noise gate activated, so that's probably why it was cutting out. So I had to be extra loud, which meant it was higher pitched. I'm so sorry. Russell accepted the situation incredibly quickly, as if he had expected this. I had to admit, I did consider this possibility too, but never took it seriously. I can't believe I allowed my therapist to drag me into this. I'm such an idiot. Hey now, don't blame the people who tried helping you. I'm sure they never expected this to happen. Well, of course not! My therapist most likely thinks it's just an abandoned rock in the middle of the forest. Ryan placed his hand on my shoulder. Let's sit for now. It's useless to stand still. We're going to wait like they said we would. I don't know. Everything's gotten so confusing, so it seems safer to stay here and wait for them to return first. What do we do if they don't come back? It was a question sitting in the back of everyone's mind, the elephant in the room, so to speak. Blake would never leave us here. True, Blake would never abandon us, and Dylan probably won't either. I appreciate you trying to paint Dylan in a better light, but hopefully this place is really empty and Liam's lying. I wanted to believe that too, but the more time we spend here, the less likely that seemed to be the case. Just one more hour, yeah? I stared at the blue candle, seeing that flame dance and flutter in the night somehow eased my anxiety. Patrice was working hard, you know. Ryan exhaled, scooching his chair closer. He wanted to go out there and punch his fears in the face. I think after seeing an earthquake, a rock slide, and the constant warnings plus the fighting, it killed his motivation. I turned around, my eyes settling on the dragon, reassuring the tiger. I think Clyde feels the same way. That must be why they get along so easily. I don't know why he was that good. I didn't know he was that good at taking care of others. He brushed it off as basic medical knowledge. Can you believe it? Modest as always, isn't he? I'm only aware of how much there is to learn that I haven't studied yet. I simply focused on what I deemed most common and useful. His tail towered over me as I realized he was done with Patrice. The tiger looked more peaceful, but the empty gaze in his eyes gave me a different kind of worry. Which is impressive, not everyone has that kind of patience. Clyde dragged another chair and joined us as we all stared at the candles. I think the most common cause of death is time. Rescuers need time to reach you first, and as you wait, you're fighting to survive for as long as you possibly can. He picked up a twig that was laying around, poking the flame as it consumed the wood. Standing there, watching the people you care about struggle while you're powerless. I grabbed his hand and pulled it away, preventing that twig from burning away entirely. I understand that desire. You want to do more because you feel like you're not doing enough, but I disagree. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be amazing if you can actually stop the pain. I'm just saying, if you're there talking, reassuring, and cheering them on as they fight, you did something. Trust me when I say that it really mattered. Love can be a medicine too in the right hands, yeah? I felt my temperature shifting. Platonic love, yes. I meant both. Sure, depends on whom we're referring to. I'm glad you guys are here with me tonight. I don't think I could do this on my own. You don't need to do anything you don't want to, okay? I agree. You already did your best even if it didn't work out. I knew they were trying to help, and I'm sure those words did cheer him up, but I couldn't help feeling a sense of disappointment emanating from Patrice. You're still thinking about going, right? His eyes opened in response. You know yourself better than anybody, so make a choice you won't regret whether it is right or wrong. We've got time. I suggest resting up for now and making that decision later. I helped myself to some music from my phone, the only tool I had left to speed up this boring process. They should be here soon. It's taking too long. Calm down. It hasn't been an hour yet. They did have a couple more minutes under their belt, true. This isn't the time to be punctual! Patrice let out a scared whine that Clyde tried hushing down. I didn't mean it like that. You know I've been letting myself go on that front lately. The tiger fidgeted, growing uncomfortable. The waiting was getting to him. Should we look for them? We all knew that was a terrible idea. He didn't seem capable of making rational decisions when the situation was dire. You're not going anywhere. One of us stays here with Patrice and the other two look for the others. Maybe they're in the lounge already. I'm also worried about Blake. The current situation, his emotional state. These things suggest that he should have returned already, if not earlier. I'll go with you. I think it'd be better for me to come along. You know, the strongest should protect the weak. As noble as that sounds, only you are capable of handling Patrice if a panic attack should ensue. I should be fine. Liam said we won't be in danger in here, right? We can't confirm that. It's better to be on the safe side. I hate when you make sense, but fine. I'll sit here and wait. It shouldn't take long since we're just going to take a quick look around. Be safe. I could feel the atmosphere around us has completely changed. It was much darker than before, but I was barely able to make out some of the shapes in the distance. Lack of any sound was giving me the creeps. A different kind of emptiness was waiting for us. And that weird smell from earlier was gone, like it never existed. Did you hear that? My fur riled up in response to a genuine question that only sparked fear in my heart. No, I heard nothing. Vibing to beats so you could ignore your hunger. Actually, yeah. Keiko, what music does Joel listen to? Probably listens to lo-fi. I swear to God, if one of the songs on his playlist was The Shape of You by Ed Sheeran, or literally any song about how, I don't know. If The Shape of You is on that playlist, I don't care how much hate I'm going to get. I'm slapping him. I'm going to slap him. I hate that song. I hate it. With a burning, boiling passion. I hate it. I'll probably slap Joel. Just kidding, I love him too much. No, I hear nothing. It's faint, but sounds are coming from that direction. I pulled out my smartphone to increase our visibility. It wasn't much, but I didn't have an alternative. Sure, go ahead. I'll lead the way. Yeah, go ahead. Clyde revealed a big flashlight, one strong enough to cut through that darkness. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, was that flashlight inside the bag? Knowing our surroundings eased my anxiety for the time being. I asked him to show me the whole lounge, just to get rid of my intrusive thoughts. Yeah, I had nothing to do, so I checked what kind of supplies Liam left for us. Anything worth noting? He gave us food supplies, which is good, but that worries me regardless. It implies that Liam considered the possibility of us being stuck here for longer. The gremlin obviously didn't tell us about it. How many times are we going to see these fuckers die? 2 more times. One of those times with Clyde. The gremlin obviously didn't tell us about it. Yes! And I know we've seen these weapons already, but what are they for? I'm assuming to defend ourselves? Against whom? Aren't we dealing with ghosts? This leaves room for interpretation. These would be able to attack first rather than protecting yourself. I should have taken his words seriously and followed up with proper research. There's no use thinking about this now. Our objective is finding Blake. I watched Clyde kneel down and touch one of the pillars, rubbing it as if to look for something in particular. I was about to ask for what, only for my train of thoughts to be suddenly interrupted by sharp pain reverberating throughout my brain. It felt like a foreign object was slowly pushing itself inside of me, and it hurt so much. Is everything alright? Yay! god, thank you! I know, we're so close to 300. I'm fine! The pain was still there, but after the surprise attack wore off, I learned to tolerate it. If you say so. Something was watching us. Somehow, in the midst of that pain, I could feel it. Why did you return? My headache began fading, and I instinctively turned my face towards the unknown voice, or at least to the direction I had heard it from. Clyde? Why are you staring that way? Did you find something? You will regret this. Was this a hallucination? I'd never had one before, but it felt so real. I shouldn't have been able to hallucinate a voice I'd never heard before. Someone is here, I think. Okay, bye. Ah! Clyde stood up and pointed his flashlight forward, but found nothing. Weird. You and I aren't hearing or seeing the same things, according to what I could observe so far. My headache began fading, and with that, I came to the conclusion that the entity left us alone. It could have been a ghost. Did you see it? Only his voice. I was being vaguely threatened? I won't be able to react if I don't have the ability to see them. The time it would take to explain my surroundings was going to be a problem. I don't like this. I don't like it one bit. I understand if this is overwhelming for you. I'm also afraid, but I have to keep going. I simply thought he was very good at hiding it. Suppressing feelings seemed useful right now. I saw you checking those pillars. Anything important? Oh, it might be unrelated, but I found some weird holes in them. Like, when you pluck something out. Like, so, someone stole
It's
an
time to
object?
drink water. It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water. It's time to drink water.
It could have been Liam? Or perhaps Clyde wanted to find a clue to point us toward Blake. Maybe. That's all I could find in this room. We should decide which way to go next. Blake was obsessed with finding another exit, but before that he wanted to check the situation outside the castle. Going upstairs doesn't sound ideal. It would be a waste of time considering that he was hurrying Dylan. I think we should explore the hallway first. Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I traveled the world and the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to abuse you. Some of them want to be abused. I love that song. I think we should explore the hallway first. Clyde nodded, sharing the same line of thinking. We pressed forward. Let's be on our best behavior. The weird sounds I hear are coming from there. I gulped, and with so much silence, it definitely felt louder. Okay. What do you hear exactly? I'm not sure. They're muffled voices and I can't make out any of the words. Sometimes they all come from the same direction, other times they're everywhere. Surrounding me, yet I still hear nothing but whispers. Clyde, that's really scary. I have to keep my composure. Who knows what the book would do otherwise? He was focusing on investigating the castle to keep his mind busy. Look, these windows are big enough to climb through. When I said that, we both shared one concerned look. Please don't tell me he... We leaned forward and immediately searched for anything to disprove that intrusive thought. What's with all the smoke? I couldn't see anything. Everything around us was just dust and clouds. It clogged our vision entirely. With such a thick layer of fog, not even the ground could be discerned. We were supposed to be very close to it as well, yet... You could explain this with the rock slide, but it's lasting too long. 1 hour should have been more than enough for it to settle down. The dragon lowered himself to the floor, reaching for a rock and threw it out the window. No sound. When he said that, I connected the missing dots. That can't be! Clyde tried one more time just to leave no room for doubt. The only reasonable explanation is that the castle is currently floating. You call that reasonable? This was too much for me. There are special materials that won't produce sounds. Have you seen anything of the sort? It's harder to believe that we're being manipulated by the perfect prank. How would you be able to predict a rock slide and plan around it? You also heard a ghost, didn't you? We can't selectively choose which one we allow ourselves to believe in. I'm just... shocked by how easily you're taking this in. I look desensitized by it, is what you wanted to say. Yeah. It's a strange feeling. I'm scared yet relaxed. I'm lost, yet somehow I know everything. I feel like I know everything. A terrible sensation washed over me, like an omen. A warning of unknown origin that twisted my guts, squeezing them and taking all the oxygen away, making me suffocate. It lasted for such a short time that my brain could barely process what happened, and so it felt meaningless to share. It's just stressed. I'm just stressed. The book. I uttered those two words almost like I had given a command to Clyde, urging him to check again to see if anything had changed. Clyde didn't comply, but the truth was there, sitting comfortably on his face. Yes, the book. He quickly placed one hand in front of me, halting the most obvious concern with a firm answer. I'm fine. I don't know how to explain it. I didn't want you to worry, but trust me that I'm fine. You're not fine, Clyde. Clyde. You're not fine. No, you're not, baby. Clyde, baby. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop it. Get some help. I'm fine. I don't know how to... Yeah, I already read that line. I didn't really have a choice in the matter. The objective tonight was setting Clyde free from the book. Until that happens, we'd have to endure whatever it decides to do in the meantime. This is going to get more complicated now. His eyes lunged into the abyss once again, scouting for something through that dense mist. Blake most likely checked this too, but afterward, this is where I can't read his movements anymore. I sighed. All I could do right now was give up on the book and support his investigation. He would have liked to find an escape here, but he failed. At this point, he would either keep going or turn back to give us an update on the situation. Something prevented him from returning, forcing them into continuing their exploration. This was the closest I'd ever seen Clyde to showing genuine fear. The thought something had happened to them was frightening, and it worried me too. Yeah, at least Mr. Fridge isn't here. I'm not going to give up that easily. What would you like to do? He was looking out for me as well. The situation was getting to me. Something ominous was hovering above us. Something invisible, undetectable, undefined. And it scared me so much. You deserve a break. Let Ryan take over and you watch Patrice. No! It was instantaneous and we were both stunned for a second. It's only going to get worse from now on. Are you sure? What a terrible thing to be confident in. The sounds are getting louder. The voices are getting clearer. And I can distinguish single words now. I'm being called. They're looking for me. I don't know if it was the news itself that made me go pale or the calm demeanor in which he delivered it to me. This is fucked. What do you mean they're calling for you? And why would you go then? Wouldn't it be better if we just ignored it and walked away from it? Clyde smiled and, as gently as he possibly could, patted my head. I have the feeling that I'm not allowed to turn back anymore. I don't know if you can understand it, but Liam did say you were medium too, just inexperienced. It almost looked too perfect for it to be a coincidence. This truly felt like Clyde summoned it for me. A headache hit me right then and there in the back of my head, pointing exactly behind us. Shit! Clyde moved away from me, somewhat guilty in holding back the hand that touched me like a foreign object. I apologize. And just like that, my pain stopped existing. I didn't get it. Was that pain coming from him? I thought these headaches were my thing. We need to move. All I could do was keep him company as we walked through hell. My head flared up again. An awful sensation was crushing my skull as we kept walking deeper into the corridor. Stop! 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 I begged, grabbed his arm and pulled him toward me. I hadn't even acknowledged my temperature getting hotter until my sweaty palms rubbed against his hands. What? What's wrong? You look worse than before. I pointed forward toward the path we were currently walking. There's something up ahead! Something really, really bad! We can't go there! Clyde checked behind us and returned to me with a hesitant look in his eyes. I'll help you walk. Can you endure this for a little bit? I have to see the source for myself. Fine. I held my tongue and braced for impact. At the end of the hallway, we were greeted with a familiar hole surrounded by vines. The pain wasn't stopping, it just kept going, beating the shit out of me, making it absolutely unbearable. Clyde gently lowered me inside a couple of bushes near the entrance. There's someone up ahead, so please be quiet. Easy for him to say, but I had to comply. Fuck, the pain was debilitating me. I pushed myself upward, trying to regain some footing and ignore the headache. Where did Clyde go? As my body stabilized itself, I started making out noises and grunts, different kinds, from two people? Couldn't recognize those voices at all. It alarmed me when a high-pitched sobbing filled the room. It sounded like a young child. She wanted to scream but couldn't. Hi, Mr. Fridge! My eyes widened in shock as I resisted the urge to gasp. A knight was standing still in the middle of the room, doing nothing, frozen like a statue. His armor was dirty, rusty, completely eroded by time. His labored breathing was enough to make it screech as it barely kept itself together, so close to breaking down. What truly terrorized me was the giant sword he carried, soaked in blood that smelled fresh. Next to that knight was a little girl, knelt down, both hands and feet tied to a tree. Her mouth was gagged and another piece of cloth covered her eyes. She couldn't do anything but shiver and whine as her tears soaked that white cloth. The knight watched her in silence, his deep breathing being the only sound that alerted her to his presence. And I wasn't capable of explaining that primal fear of knowing that death was coming any second. We needed to leave, now. There was a sudden sound of a twig breaking, followed by a small rock hitting the floor, rolling down the hallway until it came to a stop. I didn't do that, but my body behaved as if it did. The knight snapped from his trance-like state, looking in the same direction I did, and began walking away toward whoever made that noise. When the knight left the greenhouse, the dragon reappeared and rushed to that girl's aid with a small knife in his hand. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but it wasn't hard to guess what was going on. He calmed her down, set the girl free, and they both ran toward me. He's coming back. We have to leave. Hurry! He pulled me up and we all left the greenhouse behind. Getting some distance from the knight eased my pain a little, but only temporarily, because something else seemed to be waiting for us at the end of the hallway. It seemed weaker, but dangerous nonetheless. Clyde's face told me he was aware of it somehow, so we checked all the doors around us for one that would open. Hearing the handle rattling in vain as the door refused to budge, it only incited me to have a panic attack. The hall was growing darker and darker, as if the flashlight was being devoured by the shadows, leaving us at the mercy of whatever that entity was. I was at the peak of my despair when a door suddenly clicked and I shoved myself inside, followed by Clyde immediately after. The pain slowly subsided, leaving me on the floor coughing hard enough to trigger my gag reflex and puke. Freedom had never tasted this disgusting. When I was allowed a moment of peace, all I wanted to do was inhale oxygen, deep long breaths that quenched my thirst for life. Clyde walked up to the bed and gently lowered the child who passed out while we were on the run, most likely overwhelmed and traumatized by that awful experience she just survived. I didn't forget about you. He came to my aid and also placed me on the same bed. It was big enough for the both of us, but I didn't feel comfortable taking up so much space, and I couldn't imagine her reaction to waking up to a stranger laying next to her. I'm okay, I'll just sit. Clyde wiped away the tears still dripping down her cheeks, and I finally had enough mental energy to actually take a closer look at this kid. I'm going to stop a bit for the ads. Want to break from the ads? I am in... No ads dance! Yes! I am in Spain without the S. Wait, did I already read that? I finally had enough mental energy to actually take a closer look at this kid. Her clothes were reduced to rugs. To rags, I think. I don't know. Maybe the encounter and a possible struggle shredded it to pieces, but something about it bothered me. Something I couldn't quite place. Where was she from? Were these clothes from our city? I could hazard a guess that she was an orphan. An abandoned child left to fend off on their own in the streets. I guess it didn't matter for now. That wasn't important. Mom? Dad? She whispered in her sleep, weeping and calling out for her parents. Clyde caressed her hair, and after a few moments, the grieving stopped and her breathing stabilized. I thought it would make the dragon feel a bit better, but he seemed just as concerned as he was before. She's really cold. I've been trying to raise her body temperature, but it doesn't budge. I handed him my jacket and placed it on top of her. I hope this helps. We were stuck in that room, feeling powerless against something we couldn't fully comprehend. They were the ones giving us tiny specks of knowledge. They were in control, playing with us, watching us struggle and entertaining them. I hated this feeling. You think she came here alone? I can't say. She mentioned her parents, but I have no idea if they're here or not. My mind flashed back to that knight's sword and it sent a shiver down my spine. I didn't want to find their corpses. That knight, was it a real person? He was casting a shadow and looked capable of interacting with things. But I can't be sure. Maybe our knowledge of ghosts through fiction was wrong all along. That would make the weapons in your bag have a reason to exist. It's irrelevant. We lack the experience to wield one. She opened her eyes, but her dazed expression suggested she was still processing the new situation, until she settled on Clyde and everything fell back into place. It looked like she was ready to burst, only for the dragon to talk to her as calmly as he possibly could in hopes of hushing her. We were worried about her screams revealing us. Be strong. I know it hurts, but remember the evil knight? If you make too much noise, he'll find us. I want to go home. I know. I'll take you home, okay? All you need to do is be brave and follow me quietly. Oh shit. Sorry. I'll protect you. I walked closer, hoping to ask a question, but my presence intimidated her as she sought refuge behind Clyde. It's okay. He's a friend. You don't have to be scared. No matter how much he tried encouraging her, she didn't budge. It was too early for her to trust anyone but Clyde. This is Joel, and my name is Clyde. What's yours? We're gonna leave off here tonight. Fuck my back. I have a sneaking suspicion that she's gonna kill us. Anyways, stay safe, have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow.